All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Just the Tips, our weekly podcast where we break down all the things in the Just the Tips world. Reporting to you live from the Maximum Results Fitness Studio here in beautiful uptown Kingston. But again, a lot of cool information to bring to you this week.
Yeah, so we're going to just talk about a very special person that we met while we were down on our trip that we ended up going down to Puerto Rico. And we met a special person, gave us a ton of knowledge, some really cool stuff that was very specific, and probably some of the best stuff that I've been told in my golf career.
And I think one of the big things is that's the great thing about having this platform and having you guys as viewers, is this gentleman needs to be world known. So I know we have viewers in upstate New York, in every state in the Union of America. We have a big following in a lot of Asian countries, and a bigger following now in Puerto Rico. But our goal is to take one Mr. Hector Blanco worldwide, because the world does need to know about it.
The professor, the doctor,
The man,
the
myth, the legend, Hector Blanco. So Mike and I end up in Puerto Rico for a long time planned golf vacation. We were supposed to hit some of the top 10 courses on the island. Unfortunately, a little hurricane weather. Also, we stayed near a rainforest. And
I think we stayed in a rainforest. It seemed like we were the cloud under, the rain underneath that single cloud. But you know what? Some good stuff came out of it. We're going to talk about everything that came out of not playing golf this week, and then next week's episode we're going to tell you about the golf stuff.
You know, there's an old saying that says, "In every adversity lies the seed of equal or greater benefit for those that look for it with a positive mental attitude."
And my driver is
Yeah.
that.
So we were supposed to play Wyndham Rio Del Mar, and they have two courses, the ocean and the river. We got down there, we were tight for time. I mean, we got off the plane, we got to the room, we grabbed our clubs, we ran out there, and they said, "We're sorry, fellas, it's raining so
The
much."
ocean course is now just the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. So they said, if you wait a couple hours, there's a chance you guys could get out. And I mean, that's the reason we were there. So we took in the pro shop in the clubhouse, and we had some lunch. And by the way, Brandon at the Ocean and River Course was the golf director, was nothing short of spectacular, and we really do want to.
He did everything possible. Like he tried to, make it worth it. But there was literally, with the weather, there was just nothing more he could have done to help us play more golf.
So not only were Mike and I rained out, but there was a tournament that was really affected by this. And I think one of the things that they did for the tournament, and this was a bbig deal tournament, I mean, sponsorship signs, events, and stuff. But as we were waiting to see if we could get out, we see in the parking lot, but right near the main area where everybody kind of congregates, is this black Sprinter van, and the doors are open on it, and we see inside what looks like a mobile club fig unit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we go up and we start talking to the gentleman, who is maybe one of the smartest, kindest, most enthusiastic golf people in the world. So we met the 30-year veteran of Puerto Rico of the golf world, Mr. Hector Blanco.
Yeah, and so this guy, we get, and again, we didn't know how serious it was until we actually started talking to him, but he used to bounce around from all the courses in Puerto Rico. And I guess, as he's gotten older, he kind of narrowed that area down that he was covering, but he was basically would go and he had arrangements with these courses to where he would be the course club fitter.
So let's talk a little bit about who Hector is. When he was 19 years old in Puerto Rico, he actually helped build the Bahia Golf and Country Club. I mean, he ran equipment. He said they cut down a coconut plantation.
Yeah.
They cut a swath through the jungle for this golf course, and he talked about learning to love golf from that literally getting his fingers in the dirt and building this course from the ground up. Later, he became a very good golfer, an expert club fitter, and he's one of the I don't know if he's a founding member, but he's certainly a very big influence in the Puerto Rican Open, and also a big helps with the big professional draw.
Yeah, so he had all these stickers on the side of his truck with everyone who he's fitted, from little kids to these pros. Of Wai Yang was one of the big ones. Camilla Villegas.
Vegas.
And then like there was like I mean there was
John Daly, good friends with Chichi Rodriguez.
Yeah,
By the way, side note, Daryl from the Dillon was raised in Puerto Rico. I found out later.
Yeah.
Our good friend, and is good friends with Chichi Rodriguez. So there's like a local connection there too.
Listen, sounds like we're going back to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, no kidding. So what was great though is after talking to him for a few minutes, I mean, Hector can't help himself. He needs to talk about club fitting. And next thing I know, Mike's got his clubs out of the car.
Well, the thing is like he probably, not for nothing. I mean, we're not the typical like resort golfers that get rentals and smack the ball around. So he probably talks to those people more often than people who know what they're doing with golf. And so like when he realized that we kind of knew what we were doing and kind of like we're a little bit above that caliber, he was super excited and he was just like, let's do all the things. So I think he got super excited too. Plus it was raining, so
we had nothing else to do.
And he probably didn't have anything else to do either.
So what was cool though is like I said, his mobile club fitting unit, it's got a foresight caddy swing monitor in there.
Yep.
He's got a grip repair. I mean, he could do anything that a top quality shop could do, and it's mobile. Plus he's got the soccer game on.
Oh yeah, he definitely had soccer on. But he had this chart. I think the chart was probably one of the most amazing things that I saw, even though it was, whatever.
Yeah.
It's this very specific chart to the frequency of the vibrations of your driver shaft per your golf swing speed, right? And he had this chart to where if you swing at 97 miles per hour, the vibrations per second or whatever it is should be this many. And if it's off, then the chart tells you, all right, well, if you're this, you need to be at this. And then he had this little machine, it wasn't even a little machine, it was a machine that counted that frequency, and then he kind of adjusted you from there.
So Hector goes, I need to see your guys' drivers, right? So he takes mine and he twings it, and the frequency on mine is completely off. Now, I did have a mishap with my hazardous shaft last season. A wayward drive caused a broken shaft, and I basically grabbed anything I could and plugged it in there. So I had a Mitsubishi shaft. I thought I hit pretty good, and basically Hector told me that I couldn't have had a more incorrect shaft for my swing speed, my height, and everything. So he offered to build me a shaft.
And what did it was like 1.5 inches too long. Right.
So yes, and I always choke
measurements.
Yeah.
He was doing measurements, measuring our arm to the ground, our hand.
Yeah.
He also worked with grip.
Yeah.
So like thickness of your grip, everything.
So Hector could either build me a shaft or tailor me a brand new suit because he took that many measurements. A little uncomfortable with the inseam, to be honest with you. I don't know what the purpose.
Well, yeah, I was wondering why you guys went into the locker room.
So here was the result of my club fitting and professional build from Hector Blanco. I go from my Mitsubishi shaft to a V2, which this thing is ridiculous. I mean, it's
bright yellow.
It is awesome looking. You see me coming a mile away, but we knocked 1.5 inches off of it, so now I don't have to choke down my club anymore. I'm right to the end. He tipped it out from regular to stiff, but with a little bit more whippy vibration at the end.
Yeah, so it's kind of like right on the peak of the regular and the start of the stiff, which is pretty much where you are. Which I kind of knew that, like when we went for a fitting last year.
But there's no standard fit.
Right. It's just like it's either this or this. It's not like some sort of blend, and this is kind of like right in between.
So then I found out I had too big of a grip on there. I put this beautiful, I've never even seen the color.
Sexy.
On this Golf Pride grip, and he counterbalanced it with a
swing weight,
on the
but
end.
on the end. So a lot of times, like if you're in like a big shot, they can add that weight kind of throughout the shaft. But since the club head, and this is what he was explaining, it was like since the club head has weight in it, the shaft needs to counterbalance that. Or you can just add that weight in at the end, which he did with a little club weight, which is exactly what putter, Super Stroke does that and everything like that. So, and he did all of this while we were on the front nine.
Yeah. So not only did he say, hey, I'll knock this out for you, but he said, hey, use my driver, which again, we had the same driver head, the TSI 3.
Yeah.
But the only difference is Hector's has a big, what do they call that?
Wrap.
A wrap like you do on your car.
Yeah, you do it like on your car.
And he wrapped his driver with the Puerto Rican flag.
Dude,
so.
the love for their state, what is that, territory?
Yeah.
Country?
Yeah, it's a country.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'll see in next week's stuff that Puerto Rican people love Puerto Rico, and it's awesome.
Like nothing I've seen.
Big star with the blue and red on it.
Yeah.
It was freaking awesome.
I saw people's houses painted with a Puerto Rican flag, and I think that was cool. So before I get to the results of my club fitting, Mike, you got a couple of regrips, and you got a
yeah. So as we were waiting there, before Adam did the shaft, he was like, "I'll regrip your clubs." I'm like, "Dude, I can't hit this 54 for the life of me." And so he's like, "Give me." Does it? He had this cool little tool that they make it, but he's like, they're cheap and they always break, so he ended up making his own. I mean, banged out my 54, my 58 degree within 7 minutes.
While he was talking to you.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, they'll be dry by the time you get to the first green. And then what? So then you did your shaft, and then the weather still wasn't cooperating, so we weren't going to get to play. I was like, here, take my driver. This is yours for the next 24 hours.
Take my driver.
Do your
please.
magic.
Yeah. So we finally get a chance to play on Monday morning in earnest. So we have these two brand new shafts. So check in next week when we talk about the golfer that we actually played, the resort, the whole travel log to Puerto Rico. But the results on my driver, we got a chance to get to range, and the thing I noticed immediately is my snap hook was gone. Right? I'm hitting the ball higher. I'm definitely hitting it farther.
And you were feeling that kick point.
So at the bottom of the swing, and I forgot this is what a driver's supposed to feel like. I had it a couple of years ago, but you feel the club come through, and then the end of the club kicks, and the ball flies up in the air, and you go, it's such an unbelievable, lovely feeling.
And it's like you didn't even feel it.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like
you know me, I'm
feel
not
it.
swinging like an animal, but the ball is going farther, it's going higher. I'm still hitting it with a draw, but the big hook is gone, the one I've been fighting all year.
Dude, any amount of money that we pay this guy is totally worth it.
Our suggestion is that you fly him to your course anywhere in the world.
We're going to bring him to the States.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. You got to put them up in a beautiful hotel. You got to feed them and have cocktails with them, and then rely on them for the expertise. But our one day that we got to play down there, now you have this new driver shaft.
Yeah.
What did he do to the shaft?
So my shaft, straight from TaylorMade, was actually 1.25 inches too short for me, and flex was pretty good, I think, and put a new thicker grip on there because my grip was too skinny. Mine needs to be girthier, And the first 12 holes, I couldn't hit this thing, and I remember Adam being like, "Dude, what are you gonna do?"
We were supposed to have 4 rounds in Puerto Rico. We got 1. You're 12 holes in. You're in the woods on every shot. I'm like, just start hitting your 3-wood.
And I was like, nah, the 3-wood goes just as bad. So I was like, I knew it'd come around, and I knew I just needed to kind of get used to that extra 1.25 inches on there with the different grip, and I just needed to kind of mentally, stop swinging my old club and start swinging my new club.
But then something incredible and unexpected happened. And so we're texting with Hector the whole time. Hey guys, how the club's going? Blah blah blah. He wants to know. And Mike's texting back and forth with him. And
all of a sudden, see this cart pulling out. I'm thinking like we're in trouble, or like maybe we shouldn't be on the fairways or something. Here comes Hector Blanco, man, all the way to Bahia, and comes out and basically gives us a final wrap up club fitting on the course.
Adjust the lie or the loft with
tweaks it a little bit more to my swing.
Yeah.
And you'll see in these videos this week, man. It was something special, and it was an awesome meeting this dude. And it was even better to just kind of sit back and listen to his expertise, and it's very personal expertise directly to you. Instead of this generic, like, oh, you need to, blah, blah, blah. He's like, this is what you need to do.
And so, just to kind of wrap up, I mean, You know, Hector's more than a club fitter. He's he's a national treasure of the golf community of Puerto Rico. I think he's got like a little, I don't want to call it witchcraft, but there's like a sixth sense about what you need.
Little magic.
He's got some magic to him.
in there.
But
and he loves the game. You can definitely see that. Like he just cares and if you check out his social media, he's Blanco _golf .repair on Instagram, and he's Hector Blanco Golf on Facebook. But if you look at his stuff, it's always working with kids, always going to courses and giving to the golf community, which is really, really cool. You can just see his love for the game.
Yeah. So go to Puerto Rico because it's a great country. Go to Puerto Rico because the golf's amazing.
Food's amazing.
Food's amazing.
Get a coconut.
People are amazing, but like I said, if you're anywhere in the greater San Juan area and you're a golfer, just look up Hector Blanco. It is 1,000% worth your time. They say, you know, sometimes you have a friend in the factory. Well, we got a friend in Puerto Rico, and like I said, so this whole video blog is dedicated to one Mr. Hector Blanco. So, like I said, this is Just the Tips, episode number 2 of 1 million coming at you. We'll see you guys again next week.
Yo!